Hey everyone, and welcome to day 30 and probably the last day of Alex Lifeson month here on my channel. Well, you've asked for it and I ignored you, and then you asked for it again, and then I ignored you again and again and again and again. No solo tutorial has been requested more here on my channel than this one over the past year or so since I covered it. And granted, I did promise it shortly after I did a tutorial for the first solo to Working Man, but I simply never got around to following up on that promise, and then I forgot how to play it for the most part. Thus, I would need to relearn the whole bloody thing front to back and somewhat more accurately than I actually initially played it were I to do a tutorial for it. That, of course, would mean a lot of work, and frankly, I simply wasn't up to that task for quite some time, relearning this beast of a solo. But now I am, and here we are. You're finally getting a tutorial out of me for this glorious and super long guitar solo to Working Man by Alex Lifeson and Rush. My grand finale, if you will, to Alex Lifeson month. So without further ado, let's close in here a little bit on the fretboard and have a look at how to play Working Man. Good then, the solo to Working Man, the long solo. I already did a tutorial for the first solo, the shorter solo, last year, so I'll put a link to that down below in the description box if you want to learn that one to go along with this one. But this is the main solo, the long one, and you know, this is a very long and loose kind of solo, so this is likely going to be a rather long and kind of loose tutorial. So settle in and get ready to learn Working Man. So the solo starts right here on the 12/14s. We're soloing in E, by the way, and using kind of like the E minor pentatonic, the Dorian. We grab a few notes like that note right there. We grab a bunch of times, which is kind of out of the Dorian mode, and but most of it's kind of like traditional, you know, blues licks, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, classic licks, classic rock licks. But the solo starts right here on the 12s and 14s of the D and the G string. Little pre-bend right there on the 14 of the G. And then we're going to back up here to the 6/7 of the G string. So that whole lick right there starts with some pull-offs from 7 to 6. So you jump up here to the 9, then you jump back here to the 5 of the D. And then everything else is all on the 5s and 7s of the low E, A, and D string. And, you know, grab some pinch harmonics there, right, of these notes. Now we're going to back up to the 4, and we're going to do a slow trill, 4 on to 5 off to 4, and then we're going to pick up the pace and do a whole bunch of fast ones. And then you're just gonna, you know, jump up here somewhere around the 10th fret or so into an E power chord. And that is the opening of the solo. Now, we're into this crazy run, and this is such a loose kind of run through the scale that it's almost impossible to get it exact to exactly what Alex is doing, because it's very loose, and he's it's kind of sloppy, actually, to tell the truth. But this really works, and this is pretty close. All right, so let's slow that whole run down. It starts with 3 of the exact same thing. So a little hammer on 5 to 7, down to 5, all in the 5s and 7s here. Back to the 7, pull off to 5, grab the 7 of the low E, and kind of repeat that 3 times. And then we're gonna go down here to the D and the A string on the 5s and 7s. And you're gonna repeat that twice. Little double pull-offs from 7 to 5. Kind of like that. Now we're gonna grab our pinky up here to the 9, and we're going to do kind of the same thing, the same picking pattern. 9 off to 5, 7 off to 5, and then grab the 7 of the A string. You're going to do that twice. Right, so from the beginning. Now we're going to jump up to the 7s and 9s of the D and the G. Do that once in that position, and then we're going to go 7, 9, 8, 10, and you're going to do that like 3 times in the same picking pattern. You know, little double hits, right? And after you do that 3 times, you're going to jump onto that 10, give it a full step bend, get your pinky on the 10 underneath it, and let the 2 notes ring together. So, nice and slow that whole run. Good. Jump down to the 10 of the high E. Going to give it a bend, release, rebend. And then you're going to do that 4 times. Little hammer-on releases from 7 to 10, back off to 7, and then grabbing the 10 of the B 4 times. And then kind of like that, playing in here in these on the 7, 9, 8, 10 of the B string. And finish up with a full step bend on the 9 of the G. So that kind of works right there. He's just messing about in this area, right? On those, on the G and the B string, 7, 9, 8, 10. And finishing with a bend on the 9. So from the top of the run. Release it off to 7, up to the 9, roll down to the 7, and then finish back on the 7 of the G. So, up to that point. Now we're moving up into this box here of the the A or the E pentatonic. You're going to do that classic little blues lick there. You know, little hammer-ons from 12 to 15, grabbing the 14 of the G. You're going to do that 3 times. And then you're going to grab the 12th fret of the E and add that into that lick for 3 more times. Kind of like that. So from the beginning of that, right? And then we're going to drop onto the 15 of the high E. And then we're going to pull off to 12, grabbing the 15 of the B. Do that twice. And then you're going to jump up here with your pinky to 17 and pull that off to 12 while you're grabbing the 15 in between. You're going to do that 2 or 3 times. So kind of like this. And then you're going to go back to the 15. So yeah, like I said, this is going to be kind of a loose tutorial because this is some rather loose playing here from Alex, especially this section here. So we're coming into this. Do that 3 times. Do that 3 times by adding that note. And then we do that. So we go on to the 15. Pull off to 12, grabbing the 15. Do that 3 times. Grab the 17, do that 3 times. Pulling off to 12, grabbing the 15. Back to this again. And then we're just going to go up the scale. And then finally until you get to like the 14 of the G. And then grab the 15. So that whole little sequence, nice and slow. Now we're into this. So we're going to grab this 15 for a 1.5 bend. I think that's a 1.5. No, that is a 2-step bend. Release it off to 12, little trill, up to 14, back to 12. And then you're going to do another 2-step bend there on the 15. Now release it back to the natural note, hit it a couple of times. And then just, play on this in this little box on the 12s and 14s. Back into another bend at 14 of the G, getting your pinky down on 15. And then we're going to sit on that for a little bit. And then you're finally going to release that bend off to 12. Up to 14, back to the 14 of the G, and release it off to 12. Now we're into this part. So we're grabbing the 11 for this big bend. Full step bend. You're going to bend it a full step like 4 times, and then you're going to keep bending it higher and higher. And then you're just going to chromatically go 13 all the way back to 7. And when you get back to the 7, then you jump on to the 10 of the G. And then chromatically run that back from 10 to 9 to 8 to 7 of the G string. And then a little play here on the 7s and 9. And then back here on the 10s and 8, 10 of the B. And then back on the D and the G string. So from that big bend, I'm not getting the note up high enough. It really got to get up there. we're into this. That little section there. But let's take it from the top up to that point. Good. And then we're into this. And we're going to repeat this with little changes. So we're planting our index on the 7 of the G, and then we're pulling off the 11 off to the 7, and then grabbing the open D. And then every second time we're going off the 9 off to the 7. So you're going to do it 3 times. And each time bouncing off the open D string. And then the final one, the 4th time, we're going to jump up here. So pulling off 7 to 5 onto the 7 of the A, down to the roll back down. So that's the first one. Back into this. And that's the second one. Doing some rolling there on the 7s. So the first 2. Back in. That's the 3rd one. Double hit here on the 9 of the D. Back into it. And that's the last one. And that's about the first half of the solo. So this whole section. And then we're into this. All here on the 5s and 7s, A, D, and the low E string. And you're going to repeat that 3 times. So it starts with 3 hits on that 7. String skip down to the 5 of the D, finish back on the 7 of the A. Back off to the 5, repeat. So I think you're going to do that 3 times in that position, then we're going to jump it up an octave. So we're right here on the 7s and 9s now of the G, the D, and the B. Down to the 8. So you're going to do that twice right here, and then we're into this lick. So. That whole lick there ends with a full step bend on the 9 of the G. Good. Then we're into this. Triple hit there on the 7. 4 times actually, and the 4th time you pull it off to 5. Double hit. 7-5-3. And then you're going to give that 3 a bend release off to the open power chord. And then we're into this. That is tricky to remember all of that, but and pinch harmonics. We're back where we were near the beginning of the solo. So that's the first couple of licks. Double hit. All going on here on the 6-7 of the G. And then a little chromatic from 7-8 or 9-8-7. And then back to 5. And then just right up. Pull off 7 to 5. And do the same thing on the A and the low E. And then you're going to go 5-7 of the A. Down to the 5 of the D. Double hit of the 7. Back off to 5. Into this. Double hit, 7, pull up to 5, up to 7, double hit of the 5 of the A, and into that. Off to the 4, hammer on release, slide into 7 of the low E. And again, all of this going on the 5s and 7s. Roll down to the 7 of the D, off to the 5. And then you're going to grab the 7 of the A for a full step bend, or a step and a half bend actually. And that finishes the lick. The slide out of 7. Good. That whole section from here. Good. Then we're into this. Back on the 7s and 9s. All right, that's all again on the 7-9 of the G string, 8-10. Right, all this going on right in that little box right there. Starting on the D string on the 7-9. And then you finish with a bend on the 10, and then grabbing the 10 of the high E, and then choking the notes off. Up to the 12, So you're going to give that a 1.5 bend, I think. Yep, 1.5. And then chromatically 12, 11, 10. Back to the 8. Finishing the lick with this. And that whole lick finishes on the 8 of the B. So from here. And then we're jumping up here back into the 12th fret box. So we're going to do that in a very staccato fashion, pulling off 15 to 12, and then grabbing the 14. And I think you're going to do that 4 times. And then you're going to jump onto the, hang on that 15 for some, for a bunch of bends. And then I think you're going to bend it 6 or 7 times, and each time kind of like the first 3 or 4 full step, and then you like earlier in the solo, you just keep going up. And then you're going to finish with that lick. On the 12 of the G. And then we're into this. So we're in the same little spot, pulling off 15 to 12, grabbing that 14, all kind of on the upstrokes, much quicker though. Kind of like that. You're going to do that 4 times. And then you're going to go down here to the 12 15s of the high E and the B and do the exact same thing. And you're going to do it 4 times there. And then you're going to grab that 15 for a full step bend. Do a little lick. Finish the whole lick with a bend at 15. Pinky on the high E on the 15. And now we're almost finished the solo. Back into the exact same thing we just did. Starting on the 15 of the B, pulling off to 12, grabbing the 14. You're going to do that 5 or 6 times. And then you're going to jump up here to the the 12 14 of the D and the G string and do the exact same thing. Little pull offs and then grabbing the 14 of the D. And now we're going to jump up here to the 16 of the G and do the same thing. Pulling off to 12 and grabbing the 14. For the final few bars. And that lasts for quite a bit. And then we're back into that again. And that is the end of the solo. That is the solo in its entirety. And I hope it was clear. Like I said, it's a very, very loose solo. And so this is a pretty loose tutorial. But, you know, I lost my way a few times there throughout the tutorial. I may edit it out, I may leave it in, but, you know, it's really hard teaching this one note for note. But really difficult trying to figure this one out note for note, but I think I have it pretty close. So let's run through the whole thing, shall we, before we're done, at a pretty relaxed pace here. And there you go, my friends. That is how you play the solo to Working Man, the long one, by Alex Lifeson and Rush. And this closes out 30 Days of Lurkst here on my channel. It's kind of the centerpiece, I suppose, this tutorial, because it's going to be a fairly long one, well over a half an hour, probably 40 minutes or so. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope that helped you out. Like I said, it's a pretty loose solo, and this tutorial was not to the note, because this solo is just not like that. It's almost impossible to get this solo to the very note, but you know, you can see where I'm going with it, and with some of the licks, you know, it's 95% to the note, but there's parts in this solo which are just really crazy and loose, you know. And you know, it was early days for Alex here, and he was playing maybe a little bit sloppy, but that's okay because, you know, he was young and full of fire, and you know, it was early days for Alex Lifeson and Rush. And but it is a legendary guitar solo for sure. So anyway, I hope that helped you out. Thanks for watching, and you know, if this video helped you out, please hit that like button, drop me a subscribe if you haven't done that already, as that would be awfully kind. And I hope you're well out there in your little guitar corner of the world, and we will see you next time. Cheers.